Okay guys, I've made a lot of bearish videos, so today I thought I'd do something different and give you the bullish case. I'm going to give you the realistic bullish case, and I'm going to give you the moon boy bullish case. All are possible, I guess. We're going to go over each one of those. Also, something major is going to happen on December 13th. I have 3 charts showing this. I'm going to explain this as well as show you how to play these charts for those that have access to these charts. By the way, you can access these charts on my website, opticalcrypto.com. Link be pinned in the first comment and description. So let's go over this. So first of all, this is a video I put up, I think it was yesterday. So this was, I'll put a link up to this video now if you want to check it out. I was saying if we push up, your next point to watch is this trend line. If you have you draw a trend line, you can get 1 point of contact here, 1 point of contact here. So likely when you make contact again, that's the point you get rejected, and you can see what happened. We hit this point and we dropped. This is where you should have bought in. If you've been following me earlier, I said this is probably where we come down to 54K. This one, so, and we're going to cover these charts. I'm going to show you how to play them and how I play them. So this is the same video. This is 8 minutes, 26 seconds in. This is a C1 chart. So you note that we found perfect support down here at 53,368. When price comes down and stops in one of these major support levels, that is where you buy. You set your stop below. If it crashes down, then you re-enter somewhere else. But if it stops here and pushes up, that's where you want to buy. And if you'll notice, when I created this video yesterday, price was right here, and I was saying if we pushed up, this is the next point to watch, 59,669. So this is the actual chart, and take note, I've got this little circle here highlighting this trend line right here. So if you'll notice, this is that little circle here highlighting where we made perfect contact. And you notice when we pushed up, so we did push up a bit, we hit this moving average here, we came down, and then we pushed back up. But I want to point out, notice where we pushed up to. We made perfect contact right there on that line. Again, the way I set up these charts using fib channels, it starts with the trend line, but basically the way I create these charts, your price targets, your points too long and short are already mapped out. Now it could have pushed above that, but since it hit this point and stopped, that would be the point you would short. So you can see we made a perfect contact right here at 59,232, and we came down. This was your point you should have bought in. And obviously if you wanted to short, again, you could have shorted this point right here. Notice we got a perfect resistance right here. We got above it a little bit, came back down. So look, your major resistance right now is this line. So right above you, your major resistance to watch is right here at 58,841 to this yellow line where we got rejected, which is right here around 59,040. We get above that hold support, we're going to go further up. You see if we come down, you can see we found support right down here at 56,728. So obviously your support below is right here around 56,464. And if we break that, your next support to catch a bounce, you see there's been a lot of support and resistance. So your next support to catch a bounce will be right here, 55,257. This was the same video. This was 6 minutes, 46 seconds in. I noticed I said right here, 58,486. This is a support and resistance level. We go above it, we go below it, but this is a strong resistance level. So let's look at this chart here, right here. So notice we pushed above it a bit. We got a wick above. Notice the meat of the candles below it. And look at this right here. I covered this in this video. If you go back and watch it, I was talking about these yellow lines. It's been a lot of support and resistance. So if you go back, you can see, again, the way these charts are set up, when we made contact, this is where I said to short at 68,900. If you were in a short from this point, you're doing really well. Came down to support, resistance, support. We broke below its resistance, support, resistance, support. We broke above it, and notice we came back down and found perfect support right here. So when you have a very strong support and resistance level, well, if this was a lot of resistance, it'll flip as support. So when we came down, you notice we found perfect support right on that line when we drop right here. So when it comes down and stops on a line that you know has been a lot of resistance, we'll flip a strong support. And it was literally almost to the tick. So when it comes down and stops, that's where you would buy to ride it up. Now, I would get out right when it hits this line because I like to take my profit. You could have stayed in and rode it up to 59,250, but it could have turned around at any point, and it did drop. So again, I would get out here. And if it pushes up above, then I'll wait until the next candle opens. It comes down, see if we hold support and push back up. But again, I take my profit here, come back down, and then you would buy back in and ride it back up. So just showing you how to play these charts and how accurate they were. So again, you got a perfect bounce here, and now you can see your resistance right now is right here at 58,620. If we push above that, your next resistance to watch is 60,000. Your current support is 56,490. If we drop below that, just like we caught a bounce here, your next support will be when you make contact with this line. So an angle depends on when you make contact, so if you have access to the charts, it's going to be helpful for you. But your next major support's down here at 55,023. I made a tweet. So guys, when I make tweets and make these videos, it's trying to teach you how to play these charts and how to understand how to use trend lines to help you be better with your trades. So I made a tweet here. You gotta have access to my charts, access to my Twitter and Discord. But I said refresh H1 chart, take note blue trend lines added. And I said notice once we crossed the blue trend line, a below resistance, price dropped. And what I was trying to show is, and I'll show you this chart, but price was bouncing off. This was our support, this blue line. We hit it, we bounce, we hit it, we bounce. So what happens is if you're moving up a support trend line, once you break it, then chances are you're going to, once you break that, price is going to drop. This is the point we're talking about. We found perfect support and pushed up. So again, and that's this chart here. Let me see. That's this chart right here. So that's what I was talking about right here. You can see that we found support, support, support. Once you break this, the trajectory of price changes, and then we came down, we found support here, and then pushed up. So again, I'm just showing you how to play the charts. And again, guys, if create your own trading view account, play around with it, but always create trend lines. If price is respecting a trend line and moving up it, once it breaks, the trajectory will change, and then you have your support levels already mapped out. So I want to cover that. So let's move on and see. So okay, so I'm going to give you the bullish case, the realistic bullish case, and I'm going to give you the most extreme bullish case. All right. So if we push up, how high we can go. But I want to show you that something major is going to happen. I don't know why, but for some reason, the 13th of December, I have 3 charts showing something major is going to happen. So pay attention to that date. And the reason I have this marked off, I'm going to show you the published version of this chart. I took some stuff off. If you look at this, this is the published version. This is published on December 14, 2020. There's a lot on this chart. I just want to show you that right here, you can see price got a slight rejection right here. We pushed above it. And we came back above, below, and then this is when we had our COVID crash right here. Sorry about that, guys. But right here we had a COVID crash. We noticed we had resistance, pushed above it, came below it, we had our COVID crash here. So I'm just trying to show you where this is on this published chart. So we got our resistance right here, we pushed above it. But what I'm pointing out is this fib circle, all of this is the same fib circle right here. But you'll notice, and I'll show you the published chart, how it played out, but notice how well we're respecting this fib circle. I need to zoom out so I can show you. And again, I'm trying to explain when you're respecting a fib circle this well, when you break past a ring, you can get a large move. So this is what I'm trying to show you. This was resistance, support, support, resistance, 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 support. Well, I think it was resistance. You don't see the wicks. Support, resistance. Push up to this point with support, resistance, resistance, support. So we're respecting these rings. Push up. You got resistance. Came down to support, we rode right up this ring, right? We're about to cross this ring, and I call that a pivot ring. Something's going to happen when we cross this ring. Now, we could push up this ring and continue to go higher, or like this ring, when we crossed it here, we had to drop to the next ring. So if we cross this ring, we could get a drop down to this ring. And just to tell you, that price right there is around 28,500. It doesn't have to play out that way. All I'm trying to point out is, when we cross this ring, I expect a big move. That is how it works. When price is respecting a fib circle, when you break out of a ring, you can get a pretty large move. So that's just for Bitcoin. I have one for the DXY and for the Dow Jones to cover that as well. So this is, again, this is where we're currently at right now. You can see right here, we wrote up this white ring. It's kind of hard to tell. There's a lot on this chart. But this white ring right here. So you can see this white ring right here. If I hit play, just to show you that, this chart was published on December 14, 2020. So once you publish a chart, you can't change it. But price at the time when I published it was at 19,285. So look what happens when I hit play. So that's that white ring I'm talking about right here. We rode right up this white ring, found support, dropped below it a bit, found support, and we're pushing up, coming up on December 13th, where I expect something's going to happen. We're going to cross this ring. So just want to show you that. So the DXY, I covered this in this last video. You notice how well price respecting this fib circle. It came up, was resistance, support. I need to change the color of my brush. Hold on, sorry about that. Let's make this yellow so you can see it. All right. So we came up as resistance, support, right? Resistance. It was resistance, or I guess that was resistance, support, resistance, right? Came down to support, was resistance. Working with all these fib circles inside here, was resistance, support, resistance, resistance. And we were expecting these fib channel lines, resistance, resistance, came down to support and resistance, and then we rode right up this green ring, support, almost support, and we're right here at the apex where something's going to happen. That also is right here, December 13th, when we cross this. So something major is going to happen for the DXY. Something major is going to happen for Bitcoin when we cross this point right here, right? So that's for Bitcoin. That's for the DXY. And let me show you the published version of this chart. This green ring is in that published chart. So this was published on January 29th. This is this green ring right here. Just want to show you this where the price, or the US dollar, was at 90.39 at the time. When I hit play, just to show you that it actually is, you know, these charts play out. I don't move anything. Once I create a chart, I leave it the same way. I might add to it, but I don't move anything. But notice it came down to support, almost support, got perfect resistance right up here at this ring. We're about to cross this ring. Again, something is going to happen on December 12th. We're going to cross this ring. I just want to show you that that is this ring here where I expect something to happen. I'm going to give you the bullish case, guys. Just want to make sure you're aware of this. Okay, so this is another one. Okay, so this is the one I've been talking about. I'll put a link up this video now where I go into this chart in detail, and I'm going to explain also why. This is the bearish case. I'm going to give you the realistic bullish case and then the extreme bullish case. But again, this chart here, just want to show you, this was published on November 14th, right? And I just want to show you how accurate this has been so far. And I'll kind of break this chart down for you. But I said when we cross this ring right here, cross ring drop, this arrow, you see as soon as we cross it, we came down to support and we're pushing up. And I'm expecting something major to happen. And this also is the 13th, right? Right, let me see here. Sorry guys, got a lot of charts up. So I expect something major to happen when we cross this point. Now I'm expecting this to have a drop. But again, so you have this Bitcoin chart, right? So I have 4 charts actually. I have this G1 chart. We're going to cross this ring potentially on the 13th for a major move, right? We've got the DXY. We're getting ready to cross this point to get a major move with the dollar. Remember, Bitcoin's hedged against US dollar. If the dollar starts tanking, be long on Bitcoin. If the dollar starts pushing up, you want to be short on Bitcoin. So we got that. We've got this ring, which I expect when we cross it, we could have a major dump. That is on the 13th. This here, so this is the Dow Jones, guys. I've been talking about that these rings can predict black swan events. This was when we had our COVID crash. When we crossed this ring, this was about a 10% drop. This is when tech stocks were dropping. This one we kind of pushed up, it came back down, we pushed up, notice respecting these fib channel lines here. And this is the next ring out. This is where I'm saying the next black swan event. We know about this new Omicron COVID variant. We got supply chain issues, this Evergrande thing, China. There's just so much stuff going on. I think seriously, this right here is going to trigger the black swan event. Obviously, if those things, you know, if this new COVID variant is a nothing burger and it's not a big deal and they fix some of the issues and the markets start pushing up and the dollar starts going down, that's bullish for Bitcoin. So again, that would be part of the bullish case. But let me show you this. So this, again, this is another chart showing something's going to happen. If you'll notice, let me get rid of the MACD and RSI. I'm sorry this is running long, guys. I'm trying to explain this. I hope you're paying attention to this. But if you'll notice, this line right here, this was a support line going way back. All right, we were bouncing right up this line. This is a fib channel line there. I just have it outlined with the yellow line. But notice when we crossed it right here, we found support, was resistance on this orange ring, support. Once we crossed this, we had a drop. We did end up pushing back up as support, 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 support. We pushed up, we got topped out right at this fib channel line, came down to support on this ring, the ring became resistance, and look where we dropped down, right down to this ring. Just showing you how accurate these charts are. And this is the original chart that I predicted the last crash. And I'm not going to go over that, I've shown that plenty of times. But anyways, we found support right here. But if you'll notice, just like when we crossed this fib channel, let me move this so you can see what I'm talking about. This is, well, not that, hold on, let me move this one. You see when I move that? Alright, well that is a fib channel line, if I can move it. So if I move this, notice how all these lines move together. It's basically like a fib retracement at an angle. I just want to show you that when I move it, it's all connected. So let me move this back to where it was. All right, so what I want to show you is, so when we crossed this point, we had a drop, right? Well, the same thing is going to play out potentially if this continues down. Once you cross this point, this is December 13th. Once we cross this point, we could be underneath this ring. Right now, this red ring is support. If we get below this as resistance, once we cross this next fib channel line, we could get one hell of a drop, just like we did back over here. So again, just showing you there's multiple charts to show it's possible that we could be versus big moves. Again, I'm expecting to the downside, but I will give you the bullish case. This is the published version, just to show you. This is published on March 5th. These orange rings, they're not as, I have them much brighter here. They're the published chart, they were, hold on guys. So the published chart, they're kind of thin, they're kind of ghosted, it's hard to see. But just to show you at the time when I published this chart, I just want to show you how, since it's a published chart, I can't change it. But you can see that we found support on this orange ring, found support on the red ring, pushed up to this point, got rejected, and then found support on this red ring. So I'm going to show you the published chart here. I'm going to hit play, and you can see what happened. Let me zoom in a bit. So look, that's the line I was talking about. We broke this line, we came down. We found support on the orange ring, support, pushed up, found support on the red ring, got topped out right here. And you can see this is our, I gotta zoom in a bit. You can see this is that orange ring right here, support, became resistance, and we came down and found support on this ring. So just showing you these charts, once I publish them, I do not change them. So again, I do expect there's more downside, but I'm just pointing out something major is going to happen. I have two Bitcoin charts. I have the Dow Jones chart and the DXY chart showing the December 13th, something major going to happen. So pay attention to that date. Let's see here. So, okay, let me give you the bullish case and the bearish case. Well, I'm going to give you the realistic bullish case, and then I'm going to give you the moon boy bullish case here. So let me go back to this chart here. So I can tell you this, on this chart, if we get above, all right, if we get above this point, all right, so I'm telling you, if we push up, the highest will go with 63K, all right, and that will form our right shoulder to potentially come down, break this, I'm calling this a head and shoulders, left shoulder, head, right shoulder, and then we crash. And I think that crash will happen around December 13th and make contact with this ring. Not to mention the other charts in confluence with December 13th. Okay, so the bullish case. If we get above and hold support above 63,149, then that is bullish, because you can see this has been a lot of support and resistance going way back. Actually, it's been, this trend line right here goes back since the beginning of Bitcoin. I mean, it was support, resistance, perfect rejection here. It was resistance, a lot of support. So if we come up, this is going to be a lot of resistance, guys. So if we get above this and hold support and we cross this ring, maybe we're going to go higher. If we do, I'll show you those points where we can push up and potentially those targets to the upside. So let me show you the, now to me, this is the realistic bullish case. Let me find this chart. I do have a lot of charts up here. All right. So this chart here, so if you remember when I was talking about this chart, I was saying, look, back here in 2020, February 2020, look, we crossed this ring, right? We dropped down to support. This ring's kind of ghosted and grossy, but when we hit this ring, we dropped down to the point we pumped from back on the 2nd of April 2019. All right, so I'm saying what's going to play out here is the same thing that played out back here. We just crossed this ring. I showed you the published version. We crossed this ring. We dropped down to support. So now we're going to push up, form a right shoulder. When we make contact with this ring, just like in 2020, we're going to have a crash all the way down to where the point we pumped from. Just like back here, we pumped from this point, pushed up, head and shoulders, broke down, moved up this channel, crossed this point, made contact with this ring, dropped to the point we pumped from, right? Let me get rid of all this. So I'm saying that exact same thing is going to play out here. We pumped from this point, got caught in the head and shoulders, moved up this channel, dropped at this ring. Once we hit this ring, we're going to crash all the way down to this point, which brings us to 10,000. Okay, so that is the most bearish case. That is what I think is going to play out. The most realistic bullish case, in my opinion, is that we cross this ring and we come down and we make contact with 300 weekly average, and then push up from there. So my my realistic bullish case instead of 10,000 is going to be maybe 14,000 ish. All right, this might go a little higher. So that's my realistic bullish case. Obviously, you can see that I think this is coming down, but if I'm wrong, and if we do get above this point right here, if we get above and we hold above 63,150, and that becomes support, right? That becomes support. This whole coronavirus thing is not a big deal. Again, the dollar starts dropping, the supply chain issues get fixed, you know, all this stuff that's going on. If you start seeing the markets push up, that's your first clue. If the markets push up, that's bullish because Bitcoin follows US markets. So if that does happen and we get above and we hold support above 63,150, I will get bullish because that's a very important resistance level. That's why I was saying that would be the top of the right shoulder. Head and shoulders is a bearish pattern. So if this is your right shoulder, this is your head, this is your left shoulder, you know, your target would be, let me do a trend line here. Sorry this is running so long, guys. But your target would be, you know, just breaking down from this would be potentially down to 37,000. I think it's going to be a cascading effect and go further, but just showing you just the target for a head and shoulders is a pretty bearish pattern. But that's why I was saying that the top of the shoulder, if we push up, would be 63,150. We get above that, then that could be looking a little bullish. So if it does get bullish, you'll say, how high can we go? All right, I have a few charts here. So this chart here, and I'm going to show you the published version of this chart. If you've been following me for a while, I called this top back here at 65K, and I said, look, this fib circle, and I'll show you the published chart. I said, when we make contact with this ring, wherever it's at, you want to get out. We made contact back here at 62,358. We came down. We pushed back up, made contact again at 65,172. I said that was potentially the top to come down. You see, we dropped all the way down to 30,228. And if you'll notice, we found support on this ring, rode right down it, hit it, bounce, hit it, bounce, hit it, bounce, hit it again. The lowest point we hit, 28,392, right on this white ring. So you can see that we're respecting these white rings, we're respecting these orange rings. So what I'm saying is, if this ring was our top before we dropped, and you can see how we're respecting this white fib circle right here as support. And if I move it, you can see this ring I have out here with this price label. If I move this, same fib circle. And you can see this right here. This is, I have it locked, hold on. I have it locked. So look, this right here, this is also the same fib circle. So I just want to show you that. And let me show you the published chart. So this was published on November 14, 2020. If you'll take note, this is the orange ring right here. This orange ring right here is this orange ring right here. You can see this red ring. That's this red ring right here. And in this one, okay, so we're going to come up, we're going to hit this point, we're going to top out. So let me hit play on this so you can see how. And remember, published charts, when I publish them, I cannot edit the chart. So I'm going to hit play, see how this played out. So you had your target way in advance, published November 14, 2020. You knew when you came up, if you're respecting a fib circle, you know, all the way back here, this was resistance, resistance, resistance. We pushed up, this next orange ring was resistance and support. You pushed up, got slight rejection here, so if you're respecting a fib circle this well, when you push up to the next ring, you know there's potentially a point to get out, and you see that's what happened. Rejected, rejected, just like right here. Rejected, 62,160, rejected, 65,100. And you see we rode right down this white ring, right? So what I'm getting at is if we push up, so you can see we topped out here, we rode down this white ring. You see we got slight rejection, split ring. So what I'm getting at is this white ring is going to be your first upside target to get rejected. And if we push above that, then your next target would be this orange ring. So the most bullish case, guys, the realistic bullish case is 14,000 instead of 10,000. But if you want a moon boy, ridiculous upside target, and you know it is possible, anything's possible, we could push up. But the great thing about these charts is if we do, you know exactly when to get out. Just like when I said we were pushing up, this is the point you want to get out. Had you got out at this point, which most people that follow me did, you could have bought back 55% cheaper. So I'm telling you, if something happens and Bitcoin goes to the moon, you know, Elon makes another tweet, you know, something crazy happens, Amazon starts accepting Bitcoin, whatever. If we push up, I'm telling you, when you make contact with this white ring, if it's out here, you know, your target's and if it's the white ring, the further out the lower price will be. But if we push kind of straight up like this, 119,771. If it's out here, 109,000. If it's over here, it'd be 99,260. If we get above this white ring, just like we topped out here once, twice, if we push up, this would be the point you would get topped out. So the further out, the higher the price. So if we push up to here, it'd be 157,000. If it's right here, 200,000. But whenever you make contact with this point, this is where you would short. So had we pushed up, if it gets super bullish and we push up, you will get a rejection here. You might come down, you might hit it again, but as soon as it becomes support and you get above it and you push up, again, whenever you make contact with this ring, that's when you get out. But I'm telling you, your target's already mapped out. I've created this chart a long time ago, and price has been respecting the hell out of all of these fib circles. But again, I just want to make it very clear that I expect something major to happen on the 13th. Again, just so you know, multiple charts. The G1 chart, we are going to make contact. We're going to potentially break this fib circle. When we broke this fib circle here, we had a drop. If we drop from this fib circle right here, your next target is going to be down here at, where's my price label here, guys? Sorry. Price label. So if we drop from this point, your next point to watch is down here around, this is the next ring below, and you can see clearly resistance, resistance, support, support, resistance, support. So if we come down, this is your next target wherever you make contact. If you break that, this is your next target down below. So again, one Bitcoin chart, then we have the DXY. We're getting ready to cross this on the 13th. Again, we could come down and test this. This would be bullish for Bitcoin. If we come up and test this with the DXY, that would be bearish for Bitcoin. But I expect a big move on December 13th or after. And then you've got this chart here, which I've covered in detail. This last ring right here, we made contact with. This is when we dropped. This is when we had a COVID crash. So I'm saying, you know, when we make contact with this ring, it just happens to be on the 13th. So again, another Bitcoin chart. So two Bitcoin charts, DXY, and then you've got the Dow Jones, this chart right here. When we crossed this point right here, when we broke this fib channel into the next fib channel, we had a drop. And that just coincides with the 13th. So if we go below this, it's support right now. We could push up, but if we drop below this, this becomes resistance. Once we cross this point, I expect us to have one hell of a move. And if we come down that low, guys, these rings are your targets. This was a lot of resistance back here. This is when they passed their stimulus package and we pushed up. I don't think there's any way they're going to make this recover. If we break this point, I'm just saying, it's just on the 13th, so I think it could go much lower. So I'm giving you the bearish case and the bullish case. I think the bearish case is going to play out. The most realistic bullish case is we hit 14K instead of 10K. So anyways, I hope I made some of the Moon Boys happy. Right now you can see that the Dow, it was down like 700 points. Now it's like negative 550. But I do think we have a lot more downside. And guys, if you want to access these charts, websites optimarkcrypto.com, link will be pinned first comment and description. That's pretty much it. But if you do want to get access to these charts, guys, they do help you know when to get in and out. And I do have a bunch of altcoin charts as well. Maybe the next video I'll cover some altcoins. But guys, that's it. Sorry this ran so long. Till the next one, I'm out.